Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I managed to squeeze another video out before I go off to Lithuania next week for surgery. So quick one hopefully, and it's a haul video. I know I've recently kind of been moaning about hauls and declutters and hauls and declutters, and here I am doing a haul video, so shoot me. But I was going to say it is what it is. I was just discussing with my boyfriend Sam last night the use of the phrase "it is what it is," and I said I find it quite annoying, and he actually quite likes the use of "it is what it is." But that's not what we're here to talk about. I bought some stuff and I'm going to show you, and I'm not saying it's good to buy lots of stuff because it's probably not, so don't do what I do, don't do what I say either. I'm going to start with two fragrances that have been gifted, so everything else would have been bought by me, but these first two were gifted. So we'll start with this one here, which I've already talked about on here, and it's called Oud 7 from Maison Premiere. Look at the size, it's such a hefty bottle and so classy and just elegant looking. I do like minimalism in perfume bottles. I like maximalism and minimalism, but not so much anything in between. But so I really like the minimalism of the Maison Premiere line. So this was gifted to me by the brand because I took part in an event which was in conjunction with Harrods. So this is a Harrods exclusive. It's an oud fragrance. It has real oud in it. I talked about how it smells and how it kind of reminds me of walking into Harrods in the perfume area, and it feels like all the very rich Middle Eastern incense, leather, oudy type fragrance have been sprayed. And it's very bombastic. It's not my style of perfume. I do appreciate that they sent it to me. It's not something I personally would wear, but it may interest those of you who like really big, oudy, leathery, incensey type fragrances. So that's Oud 7. And then this was sent to me by Chris and Terence Hughes obviously have collaborated and created this fragrance, and it's called Smoulder. And I'm not going to talk about this one now because I'm actually going to be giving this away. Well, not exactly. You'll have to pay attention. So coming up on my channel is going to be something pretty awesome, and it's going to include the opportunity to win Smoulder, the collaboration between Chris from Fragmental and Terence Hughes. I have smelled it, and I will tell you that to me it's like a sweet leathery fragrance. So I think it's like a masculine, modern, yet sweeter masculine type fragrance with a very definitive leather note. So that is Smoulder. So thank you to Chris and Aaron for sending that to me. It's got the unicorn on the top. So we'll pop that out the way over there. And then everything else now I bought myself. So the one that I actually ordered in July, but I think it came early August, was this. It's Annabelle's birthday cake from Marissa Zappis. I have it on this wrist. I sprayed it about 2 hours ago, and it really is a beautiful fragrance. If you think it's gonna smell like a really sickly birthday cake covered in frosting, nothing more, then you're wrong. So when you first spray it, it's got this, so it smells to me like orange and lemon combination that's mixing in with a sweeter kind of vanilla-y, tonkery type note. And then as you wear it, the orangey lemony side of things starts to wear off, and you notice more delicate nuances coming into play. It's definitely got a really gorgeous vanilla. It's almost like if you took Guerlain's Tonka Imperial, and if you took Guerlain's Spiritus Double Vanille and you swirled them together, and you swirled in some orange and some lemon, it kind of it's a little bit like that. So what I'm saying is this is a beautiful gourmand done very delicately without going too sweet or too heavy on the gourmandy side. So it still smells like perfume because there is a note of tuberose frosting. There's a really interesting note listed of balloons. You know, at a party you get balloons. I don't really get anything sort of plasticky or rubbery though, so don't let that put you off. But there's a real lovely texture to this. It's kind of got a little bit of a dry, powdery kind of texture, but it's not really dry. It's got lots going on and it's really nice. So Annabelle's birthday cake. It was a limited edition, but I found out that they are planning to do more. So if you are interested in that, you need to go and follow Marissa Zappers on Instagram so you can find out when the next batch will be available. But it is a beautiful gourmand fragrance. It's done how I like my gourmands done. And I've got here Sunflower Pop from Floral Street in the travel spray. I ordered this one online after trying it in the shop. Just tried a little bit on paper, and I really wanted a sample so I could test it on skin, because it's mostly mandarin and it certainly was on the paper. It smells like an Atelier cologne. If you like Atelier cologne, like the Clementine California, the Orange Sanguine, if you like the utter downright citrusy ones, which is the majority of them, then you're gonna like this. I don't really pick up on a lot of the other notes. There's supposed to be iris in here. I don't think I really get it, but I need to try it a bit more really. But it's just a travel size. It cost me £20. Can't argue with that. It's a lovely citrusy fresh mandarin, and great for the summer, which we don't really seem to be getting anymore. Whatever summer we might have had seems to have come and gone, and I don't think I noticed it. I must have had a nap. So let's move on then. I got the latest Miss Dior 2021. For those of you that don't know, Miss Dior has been reformulated again. So how many formulations do we need of Miss Dior? So the last formulation came out in 2017, and that's the one where the juice colour is orangey. It's like a nectar. It's like an amber nectar, really rich orangey pink colour, quite dark. And the actual juice smells like rose, patchouli and amber mostly. This is completely different. It has nothing to do, there is still rose in here, but it really has nothing to do with the previous iteration. And I think if anything, it's closer to the original Miss Dior, not the very original one, which is a completely different, again, it's now called Miss Dior Original. But so you know, you had Miss Dior Sherry, came out in 2005, and then there was a few formulations of that, and then the first time they dropped the Sherry, that Miss Dior came out in 2012. This is closer to that. Not to say it's the same. Don't run and blind buy thinking it's going to be this exact same. It's not, but it has the it's similar in terms of how light and fresh and girly and pretty it is, whereas the 2017 was actually quite a rich, more of a nighttime special occasion type fragrance. This is more an everyday, light, casual, or very versatile, any day really kind of fragrance. But I actually really like it. I wore this today, and it's a rose perfume, but it's got lots of powder, so it smells like powder, vanilla and benzoin. Starts off with some fruits. I think there's raspberry. It feels like a syrupy raspberry fruit. There is an apricot note. I don't really get that. It's more of a fruity accord that's kind of led by a raspberry like feel. And then as that dries down, the fruitiness gently subsides, and you are left with a really gorgeous rose, powder, vanilla type scent. And I actually really like it. Yeah, it's not the wildest, craziest fragrance in the world, of course it's not going to be. It's Dior, it's designer, it's got to be mass appealing, otherwise they won't sell any. But this is my kind of fragrance. It does remind me of a little bit of My Insolence from Guerlain, which if you watch this channel often, you'll know that I really love it, because it does feel like there's a bit of an almondy note when it gets to the dry down, which reminds me of My Insolence. And it also reminds me a little bit of Le Plus Beau Jour de Ma Vie, which is also Guerlain, but it's one of their exclusives, and that has a sugared almond note and vanilla and musk and powder. So it's that kind of thing. It could almost be classed as a makeup like scent, like a lovely powder, and also perhaps one of those nice raspberry scented lipsticks at the same time. And yeah, I like it, I really like it, and I make no apologies for that. This one's gonna displease quite a few people. The people that love the current formulation are going to be crying because this is nothing like it, but it might well gain a new crowd to Miss Dior that perhaps weren't about and smelling perfume back in 2012. That's the kind of target that I would say probably generally a younger market are going to love this, but you don't have to be young, because I'm unfortunately not 21 anymore, but I can definitely rock this, as can anyone that wants to wear it and enjoys the scent of something kind of powdery and a little bit sweet. So yeah, I really like it. Miss Dior, just a 30ml bottle, and I got that slightly used from a lovely Instagram friend who bought it blind and didn't quite gel with her. So I'm happy to have that. Finally, I just cut my own hair. I'm such a div. I'm always cutting my hair these days. Since lockdown forced me to cut my hair, it held me by my throat and said, cut your own hair. So I really messed my hair up during the first couple of lockdowns, and now I've bought special scissors, so at least I'm not doing it with kitchen scissors anymore, but I've cut it and it's not quite enough heft to stay behind my ears like I want it, but never mind. So finally, I have a delivery that I got from Teone Reinthal, the natural perfumer. You will all know how much I love the perfumes by Teone, and so I've got a few here. Let's get on with it. Shall I start with? I'll start with the samples. I've got 3 samples, or they're 5ml samples, so they're decants really. I've got Night Song. Night Song is an oud fragrance, so I have tried this on skin a couple of times just to spray on the hand so far, and this one, the oud is quite prominent when you first spray it, and it's kind of mineralic, earthy, a little leathery in feel. I'm no oud expert. I've been very shy of oud, and I really dislike the synthetic ouds in a lot of mass market perfume. I seem to be better with real oud, and it's a little medicinal, I would say, but it also has beautiful white florals that bloom, and they come through and they kind of take over, and then the oud just takes a back seat. So I really like that one. It's gorgeous. I'm not sure how much I'd wear it, because the oud is challenging for me. That's just how it is with oud. I find leather, I feel the same about strong leather in fragrances, also strong saffron in fragrances. Anything that's kind of in that kind of vein. Saffron can smell a bit leathery as well, can't it? So then we have Garden of Pleasures. Now this one it works in almost the opposite way. So Garden of Pleasures opens with this really beautiful kind of almond-like floral, and it also smells a bit medicinal. It makes me think of plasters and ointments, like pink ointments that mum and dad would put on your cuts and scrapes when you're young, and I find that quite a nice smell actually. So it's kind of almondy, medicinal, but then floral. I don't know what the florals are, but they, in both this and Night Song, are definitely white florals, very heady and exotic. But this one, the oud creeps in after the florals, so it works in the opposite way to Night Song. So what happens is with this one, I really love how it starts, and then the oud really comes in, and it gets quite funky and not exactly dirty. I wouldn't say it's necessarily barnyardy, but it does kind of have that leathery, earthy, carnal feel that I'm not sure, again, where I'd wear it, I would probably get to know these first and maybe just wear them at home on my own until I feel comfortable and get used to them. But they are undoubtedly beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So Garden of Pleasures. If you're an oud aficionado, then you really do need to get your nose on some of the ouds, because obviously it's an all natural house, it's all natural oud, and the ouds in these fragrances are very prominent, so you're not going to be feeling shortchanged because they really do have a lot of oud in them. So then the last sample is called Arjuna, and this one is completely different to those two. Really fresh. From the lid it smells like neroli, but it's a fresh green, floral, citrus, very, very fresh, very naturally beautiful. And it does have that, so you know how neroli can sometimes smell like stinging nettles, or that's what I say anyway. It does have that kind of slightly bitter, fizzy greenery to it. And but it definitely feels like it goes off green on my skin when I tried it. It's but it's not green as in leaves, it's not foresty green, it's very light green. It's almost like dewy grass green. And yeah, so that's a beautiful, beautiful, very outdoorsy, natural feeling fragrance, Arjuna. And now, what do we have here? We have Tafe Rose, and this little beauty is an oil. So this is I think it's a 15ml oil, so it has a high concentration of perfume in it. Tafe Rose is I've already talked about this before on my channel. I might have done a review, I think. And Tafe Rose, to me, it smells like patchouli, but I don't think it really is. I think it might be sort of styrax, labdanum, but it's resins, and it's not too sweet, but it does have a little sticky sweetness to it and a gorgeous dollop of rose in the mix. And I get a mild hint of something almost menthol, like a touch minty in the mix. I've got some on my nose now. So I thought I'd, rather than buy a full bottle, because it's not something I'll reach for as much, I thought I'd get the oil, and that would be something that I might anoint myself with as and when I feel like a treat. And of course the oils are much more gentle on the skin. I do actually suffer quite a lot with rashes. I seem to have a rash here at the moment when I spray alcohol perfumes, and it really irritates. I think the perfume probably causes the rash in the first place, and then as I spray perfume it irritates it. So it's so nice to have an oil or a solid version of perfumes to just give yourself a break from the alcohol sometimes. Talking of alcohol, I've got vodka and Diet Coke. Cheers. Moving along, so this is discontinued. It's called Mahla or Mahla, and I was talking to Teone about it a while ago, and she had one bottle left, and I saw these amazing reviews, and you must go and look on Instagram and see Marcus Ibrahim and also Christy, who is Oh My Soul. You might know her from the Facebook group Oh My Soul, but she's on Instagram as Oh My Soul, and they've both done stunning reviews of Mahla, along with many other Teone Reinthal perfumes. But I think it was Marcus's closely followed by Christy's Instagram reviews that had me just gagging to get hold of a bottle of Mahla, and I'm really pleased that I did. So Teone held onto it for me, and now I have it. So I have it here. Now I don't know, I can't remember the notes, but I mean, when you read the note listing, if you're anything like me, you're going to be literally going to be like drooling. You're going to need to be wiping your mouth. To me, it smells like fizzy white flowers, really exotic fizzy white flowers, and then maybe some Coca-Cola. So it's got like a spiciness and warmth, and I'm guessing it's resins again, probably sandalwood. But it's exotic, it's beautiful, it's so lovely the way that it's blended. It's kind of caramelized and gorgeous, so I'm really pleased to have that one. Mahla or Mahla. And then my scent of the night is here in this box. In this box here, so this is a special edition, limited edition, and it's called Rose Mimosa. Now what's different about this is it's actually got real ambergris in it. So usually everything on Teone's website is vegan. It's all cruelty free, 100%. It's all cruelty free. It's usually all vegan, no animal products, but she has experimented with some animal products for a couple of limited editions. This one has real ambergris in it. You can get the vegan version, so if it bothers you that ambergris is from an animal, then you can get the vegan version, but this is the one with the real ambergris in it, and it is sexy as. It is really sexy, and I'm wearing it here, and it doesn't smell like what I would expect mimosa fragrance to smell like. Sometimes I find mimosa as a main note quite cloying. It's kind of like a sweet, powdery, sort of can be a bit almondy, very yellow, polleny, but here it's not. It's lighter, and you don't smell the rose straight away. The rose comes in, on my nose anyway, the rose comes in a little later in the wear, and I think in the opening I get there's a chamomile note in here, and I, without knowing it was in there, I did pick it out, so I did actually notice a chamomile note, although that goes away fairly quickly because I don't always love chamomile. It can be very overwhelming, but in here you notice it. It's enough to notice it, but it doesn't overtake everything, and in it gently bows out. But it's powdery, and the ambergris adds this natural sexiness, this, so you know, in aquatic fragrances, they're obviously, all aquatics are made from synthetics, so they might use cologne, which is the one that kind of smells a bit like melon but also a bit like sea breeze, and I think there's other things that can be used to make that kind of salty sea air effect, but that is obviously not in here because it's all naturals. So what you get, that you do get some kind of slightly aquatic feel, but it's, I think that's coming from the ambergris, and it, to me, it's almost like smelling someone's pillow, that kind of like slightly unclean muskiness, a little bit, just a little hum of something slightly dirty without going too far. And yeah, this is pretty amazing. Really interesting fragrance, and highly recommend you try it if that sounds like your kind of thing. So Rose Mimosa. And finally, last but not least, I have this one. It's called Magnus. So this one does have oud in it as well, and this one is a complete blind buy, and I'm still getting to know it. I can't remember all the notes. It's definitely very spicy, very exotic. It feels like there might be some saffron. I think there's some oud. I have tried it on my skin a couple of times. I mean, this all came 2 days ago in the evening, so I haven't had that long to be testing it all. This one to me is probably a little bit of a challenge, but I really want to get to know it because I have a feeling I will fall in love. But this one is it's more of a wintry fragrance. It's quite kind of earthy, rich, mysterious, and maybe a little medicinal as well. Really interesting. So I'm gonna get to know it. I'm gonna take my time with Magnus, get to know it, and of course you'll be hearing more about Magnus, and you'll be hearing more about everything that I've just talked about in this video. So do, you know, hang around, stay tuned. If you haven't already, you could always subscribe, you can like, you know, all that stuff if you want. You can unlike, you know, that thumbs downy button, I don't mind, you can do that too. That's it then. So one other thing, just do stay tuned. Keep an eye out. I might be away for a little bit, I'm not sure, because I'm going to be in Lithuania, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing in terms of anything on YouTube, but I am organising the most amazing collaboration. It's going to be crazy good, and as I said earlier, there is probably going to be some pretty cool things that you can win, and all sorts. It's just going to be really, really good. So do keep your eyeballs peeled. That's it then. I'll catch you all later. Bye.